Okay, so I think we should get started. Uh, can anyone tell me that am I audible? I mean, is the audio correct? Okay, cool. Yeah, so I think we should get started. Yeah. So first of all, there's this disclaimer page, right? Like the names that I'll be referring to in this webinar are only going to be used to throw the point. So none of the names should be taken as a recommendation. The second thing is there are a couple of names that I'll be taking during this webinar that I own personally in my portfolio. So there can be certain personal biases that I can also have. So just don't take it for the sake of the name, and please do your own research before you make your investment. So with that, let's move to the webinar. Yes. So the name of the webinar, the topic of the webinar is consolidation and value migration. So and we are going to focus on the Indian banking sector. So let me just give you a brief. So first is we're going to talk about the current situation of the whole Indian banking space. We're going to talk about how different parameters of the banks are working. So let's take an example. Let's say for example like what is the outcome and what can be the scenario of banking in India probably 5, 10, 15 years down the line. And since we are in a COVID world, so there are drastic changes in this particular space. So this is one aspect to this. Second is I see a lot of people like making a lot of mistakes while choosing banks. Like I see a lot of retail investors like they don't understand the difference between a good bank and a bad bank. So in India, banking is a very tricky business. So for example, banking, if you stay invested with a good bank, then that bank can be a huge wealth creator for your portfolio. But then if you choose a bad bank, it can actually destroy your capital. So these are the two things that I wanted to tell you before I get things started. Yes. So now we move on to the first slide. Yes. So this is actually the core philosophy that I have and that I have maintained in my investment journey is consolidation and value migration. So let's understand the concept first. So let's go back to the 1990s, right? I'll be giving you certain examples of value migration and how value migration happens. So before the 1990s, the Ambassador car was probably the only car that was on the road. But with the advent of the Maruti cars, like a Maruti 800 came, people migrated to the Maruti car from Ambassador and never went back. The other example can be in June 2007, Steve Jobs introduced an Apple iPhone which sold like hotcakes, and many of us shifted from non-Apple products like a Nokia or a BlackBerry or a Motorola, and we shifted to an Apple iPhone and then never came back. The same thing also is happening on the front of, let's say, Reliance Jio. So India had around 7 to 8 telecom companies before Jio came, and today if you see, India has only 3 companies. So that means what? People migrated. I remember in my MBA days when Reliance Jio actually came, Reliance actually gave this internet scheme for 1 year for free, and every dorm room, everybody in our college, they had a Reliance Wi-Fi or a Jio SIM. So that is another example of value migration. So value migration happens in every sector of this country. So India has around 40 sectors. But then if you see that there are certain companies in every sector where people have migrated or they are still in the migration phase. So this is the example of migration. So there are two aspects to look at it. If you look at the slide, you see that if you look at point 3, that there is a correct side and there is a wrong side of migration. So let's say, for example, today you invest in a company that makes let's say newspaper. Like there's this company called Jagran Prakashan who sells the highest number of newspapers in the country. So when you see this now, when you see that newspaper where a trend, like everybody used to own a newspaper, like newspaper used to come every day at your home, like it was like a religion to us, like 10, 15, 20 years back. But today if you see that people read news digitally, so people read news online, on Facebook, on Twitter, and they have shifted from the traditional newspaper mode. So So that means what? Value migration is happening from the physical newspaper to the digital media. So if you are on the wrong side of value migration, so there are other examples like radio, television as well. These are the companies that's losing their competitive advantage. So if you are invested in those companies, in the long run, the value of your investment would go down because the value of the organization that's actually selling that product is coming down. So that's the most important thing. Now, first is the migration. Now again, let's come back to the likes of the Marutis, the Geos and the Apples of the world. So first is they help in migrating the customer, and the second thing is then what they do is then they cross sell their products. So what happens is, in that case, once a customer, let's say, comes, the customer stays in that company, and there are a lot of factors that goes into play. Now for example, I can take example of companies like a Bajaj Finance and let's say an HDFC Life. People say that they are NBFCs and life insurance companies, but in reality they are nothing but data analytics company. So they have so much data on every household of this country that they basically actually can pick and choose their customers and give the products as per the needs and the demands of the customers. The other important thing is these are the companies, like for example, I can give you a good example of cross sell is Apple. So once you buy that first iPhone, Apple would ensure that you buy the other products in their ecosystem, like from an iPhone to an iPad to an iMac. So that means what? Once you have migrated into such a company, the company ensures that you stay with them for a long period of time. So why am I talking about value migration? The core is that if you can be on the right side of value migration, you can actually build a lot of wealth in the market. And when you stay with those companies, if you look at the stock prices of Maruti, Apple, if you look at the stock prices of, let's say, Jio is a good example actually, because if you see, the Reliance stock hasn't done anything like in the past 10 years. But once Jio came, value migration happened and Reliance got a new growth engine. And you see that Reliance stock has probably quadrupled in the last 4.5 years. So this is the theme that I actually work, and I want you to understand, because when you look at the market, you see around 5,000, 6,000 companies in the stock market, but then value migration happens in very small number of businesses, and we have to be in that. So that is the first part. Now what happens to those competitors? Now, as I said about the ambassador cars, as I said about Jagran Prakashan. So these companies are slowly dying. Like ambassador car is no longer there, right? You don't see any ambassador car today apart from some yellow taxis in Kolkata. So you won't see that car anywhere probably in other parts of the country. So what happens is then sector consolidation takes place. I mean, when Apple came, companies like a Motorola, Nokia, and there's some other company as well. So they went out of business. So what happens here is even in that telecom and in that electronic sector, like a lion's market share is being captured by Apple, and Apple is growing each and every year, and they create a huge barrier to entry, and that makes it very difficult for a new competitor to come in and take market share of it. So the true essence lies in things called disruption. The true essence, I mean, the disrupting companies are the company, like Jio was a disruption, Apple was a disruption. So it lies in disruption. It lies in the companies which has a strong brand, which has a strong brand recall. Brand means nothing but trust. So if you trust a brand, if you would always go and would buy that product. So these are the businesses that we believe are going to create wealth. So let's move on from this. Let's move on to the next slide. And from here, we move on to the next thing, which is the scope and size of Indian banking. So I would relate value migration and consolidation in the Indian banking context. Now think about this. If consolidation takes place in the biggest sector of a country, then if you're sitting on the right side of consolidation, then you are going to create a lot of wealth. So that is why banking becomes a very important component for me, and hence the webinar. So if you see the size of the Indian banking. So if you see the credit market size is 105 lakh crores and the deposit market is 140 lakh crores. Credit market means the amount of loans that the banks have given to its borrowers in this country. So with 105 lakh crores and 140 lakh crore size, we can very well conclude that it is the biggest sector in this country by a distance. So when there is consolidation in this sector, and if you are on the right side of it, immense wealth can be created. Okay, So there are other important aspects as well. Now apart from the size, you can also see that over 20% of adult Indians still don't have a bank account. So this sector, apart from consolidation, has still a long runway. And with the government yojanas, with the Jan Dhan, Aadhaar and mobile, which is the JAM Yojana, people have been opening their demat accounts. The other important aspect was demonetization, because when demonetization happened, many people from tier 3 and tier 4 cities were forced to actually go to a bank and open their savings account. So in a way, this is actually a paradigm shift that's been happening from India. Okay. The other important aspect is like why should we look at private sector banks? Why should we look at banks in general, right? Generally, if you see this, that the credit growth of any country drives the GDP growth of a country. So if you look at China, the China's GDP growth for the past 30 years have been driven by a credit growth. So generally, if you see that the GDP of our nation has been growing at around 6% annually for the last 25 years, and the credit growth is 2 to 2.5 times of that. That means what? That means if you're on the right side of consolidation and migration, and if you and your bank is a good bank, then your bank has a possibility to grow at 15, 20, 25% every year for probably the next decade. And hence the excitement, and hence the webinar. And this is why we are doing this. Okay. The last point I want to talk about is like the transfer of wealth from the traditional to financial assets. Let me give you an example. Like traditional assets are real estate and gold, right? And financial assets are fixed deposits, stocks, bonds. So what is happening here is that in the developed nations, people have been shifting from traditional assets, which are the non-productive ones, to productive assets. If you look at the US, the traditional to financial assets I think they have a ratio of 70 to 30. If you even look at developing nations like Venezuela, or if you look at Brazil, or any other BRICS country, you would also see that there is an 80-20 or an 85-15 ratio towards traditional assets. In India, the ratio is 95-5. So we have a long way to go. And well-run private sector banks, well-run insurance companies, well-run exchanges would ensure that this transition is taking place. So if you see that today, many of the working people who are joining their jobs, they have a demat account, they have a savings account, which was not there probably 20-25 years back. Even in our former generation, we don't see people even investing their money into somewhere else. They just owned some land, and they had some gold in their locker. Okay, so on that note, let's move on. So yeah. So before we start with the value migration, so I think this is a very basic thing on how a bank makes money, because it's important for you to understand this. So basically a bank takes deposits from customers. So I'll be giving a very brief. Okay, so let's say a bank takes 100 rupees from its customers and say, okay, I'll pay you 4% deposit. So that means the bank has to pay 4% or rupees 4 to their depositors at the end of the year. Now the bank has to deploy that capital, right, and has to earn an interest above 4% to make a profit. So here, if you see these two arrows, the interest rates on bank charges on loan, and that has to be more than 4%. So let's say the bank charges interest at 7%. So the bank takes 100 rupees and promises the depositors they would give 4 rupees, right? And then they deploy that 100 and make it 107. So what is the difference? 107 minus 104, and the bank pockets 3 rupees, and that's how a bank makes money. This is all you have to know. So let's move on. Yes. So let's now come to value migration in this entire sector. Now as I said, okay, like, is it really happening in the banking space? Now look at this chart. Now in the left, we have the market share in loans. Look at how the value migration is taking place from a public sector bank to a private sector banks. So if you see, public sector bank had a market share of around 80% back in 2000. That number has come down to 60. The best part is, if you just go back to 2015, you see in the last 5 years, the public sector bank has lost 15% market share to the private sector banks. So that means the value migration is actually taking place at a rapid pace. And in the post-COVID world, this will actually enhance even more. And the right side is the deposit side. So if you see, the deposit base in the public sector banks is going down, and that of the private sector bank is going up. So this is actually a very good pictorial representation that value migration is happening towards well-run, high-quality private sector banks. Okay, so I think I've spoken a lot. Do you guys have any questions? Please post them, or if you have anything. Okay, so you can also even stop me, so that's not a problem. Okay, so I see no questions here. I have a request for the record, which we are actually trying to do, but we have some issues with it. So let's see. Okay, so since I don't see any questions, I'll move on. Yeah. So now the question is, why is the public sector bank losing market shares, right? So why investing in the public sector bank will erode your wealth, and why it has been happening? So let's see. So there are basically 3 to 4 problems. The first is government ownership. So in our country, anything that the government owns, please stay away from it. So anything. So I'll tell you how this actually started. So basically, you go back when India got their independence, the government thought of like, okay, how would the country respect us? How would the country respect the government? So what the government took was, they took all the natural assets with them. They took coal, they took iron, they took all the mines, they took electricity under their arms, and they set up a company on top of it. And then they owned the entire company. So when you own the natural assets of the country, that means people have no other option but to listen to you. That's how the government setup has been, and this is probably in probably any country. But the problem here is, like for example, the government, I mean, there is this term that says that there is this saying that says the government has no business to be in business, and that's exactly the problem is. So when the government owns, you see the situation in every possible sector. You see what's going on in the public sector banks. You see what's going on in the coal sector with Coal India. You see with GAIL. So how the government works is okay, the government has these Maharatna companies, okay, and sometimes they have to favor, let's say, company X. So what they do is they take the dividends from company Y and put it in company X. Sometime else they need something else, so they take. So basically they use these companies to actually, वो हिंदी में बोला जाता है ना कि वो तिजोरी भरना. They even also use these companies for political purposes as well. So if you are a retail investor, you are not going to make any money from all these things. You're actually going to lose your capital if you are invested in this Maharatna companies and the government-backed entities, because the government will never be working for you. The government is working for its own socio-economic agendas. Like जब ये कोविड वाला सिचुएशन आया था, तो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने स्टेट बैंक को बोल दिया था, जाओ गरीबों को लोन दो. I mean, that's fine from a country's perspective, but we have to think from an investor's perspective, because we all know कि कोविड के बीच में when you give out loans to the micro, small, medium enterprises and to people just to get them out of the trap, majority of the loans are not going to come back. So you as an investor of the bank are going to lose out. The second thing is scams and frauds. तो आपने बहुत लोगों ने ये हर्षद मेहता वाला सीरीज देखा होगा. तो कौन से बैंक में हर्षद मेहता गया था? वही SBI, वही PNB, वही कनाडा बैंक, वही कर्नाटक बैंक, और कुछ बैंक तो आज है ही नहीं. नीरव मोदी ने वही किया कि 10,000 करोड़ का PNB को फ्रॉड करके चला गया, और PNB को कुछ 20 साल पहले का प्रॉफिट जो था उसमें लेके गया. विजय माल्या अगेन SBI. सो यू विल सी अ कॉमन ट्रेंड हियर कि जो भी स्कैम्स हो रहे हैं, जो भी प्रॉब्लम्स हो रहा है, दैट हैपेंस विद पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक्स, बिकॉज जनरली द मैनेजमेंट ऑफ अ पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक का कोई कॉम्पिटेंस नहीं होता है. सो दैट्स द अदर इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. नाउ द थर्ड पॉइंट इज दैट कोविड इज अ हैमर ब्लो टू द PSU बैंक. तो सोचिए, सो बिफोर कोविड any organization which was performing poorly became poorer after COVID, and any organization which was doing good in COVID actually captured more and more market share at the end of COVID. So we'll talk about this. We'll talk about how the PSU banks were affected, and that has actually led to this part. So this is the one. I'll just go back to that slide. Yes. So from 75% to 60%. So this gap was actually brought about by a lot of scams, a lot of crisis, and the third thing is कि आज अगर आप लोग हो, so the number of participants that I see here, I think majority of you have a bank account with a private sector banks. So this is the paradigm shift that I'm talking about. This is the value migration I'm talking about. So this is like PSU में invest करना is like to be on the wrong side of value migration, and your capital is at serious risk. Okay, so we'll talk about this provision part a bit later. For just go to the next slide and see. Yeah, so this is the thing. So what was moratorium? We all heard about moratorium. हर जगह पे moratorium आ रहा है. What was that? So moratorium is that particular part of the book, particular part of the loan book जिसमें एक बैंक को interest नहीं मिला when the customers went into moratorium. So when the moratorium period ended on September 31st, this was the moratorium book of these banks. So SBI and PNB are highlighted in red because if you see 35 and 39% of their book, which is like 8.5 lakh or like 2.4 lakh, this is 2.4 lakh crore and 8.34 lakh crores. ये पैसा का कोई इंटरेस्ट आया ही नहीं, राइट? दिस इज द सितंबर एंड का डेटा. सो नाउ हाउ कैन यू टेल मी कि इनमें से कितने लोग बाद में जाके रीपे करेगा? बिकॉज स्टेट बैंक एंड पीएनबी दे डील इन क्वेश्चनेबल सेक्टर्स लाइक पेट्रोलियम, रियल एस्टेट, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, and many real estate agents went out of business. So how do you know that they will come back, right? You don't know. But if you look at the well run private sector banks like an HDFC bank, Kotak bank, जो पहले से ही अच्छे कस्टमर्स के साथ ट्रीट करता था, जो पहले से ही अच्छा बोरोवर्स का लिस्ट था उनके पास, so those people did not default, they actually paid their moratorium. So if you look at the moratorium book of HDFC bank, Kotak bank and ICICI bank, इट्स लाइक नथिंग, राइट? और इनमें से अगर ये पूरा भी पैसा एनपीए बन जाता है, अगर कुछ भी नहीं होता है, तो दीज बैंक्स विल सर्वाइव. बट द एंटायर स्पेस ऑफ स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया एंड पीएनबी आर इन टू एग्जिस्टेंशियल क्राइसिस. बट नाउ आई टेल यू, स्टेट बैंक विल नेवर गो आउट ऑफ बिजनेस, नाइदर विल पीएनबी. क्यों? बिकॉज सरकार मालिक है, right? So when the government is the owner of these banks, the government keeps recapitalizing these banks, right? But then I'll tell you one thing, even the government has also understood, like in last year there was this comment by Nirmala Sitharaman said कि like ये इंडिया का फिजिकल डेफिसिट इज नॉट दैट गुड, बिकॉज कोविड के बाद क्या हुआ है, गवर्नमेंट का तिजोरी से बहुत पैसा चला गया ये योजना में, राइट? लाइक यू सी दैट 20 लाख करोड़ ने दिया है, फिर कोई ECLGS स्कीम किया जिसमें गवर्नमेंट हैज पेड 3 लाख करोड़ टू द MSME सेक्टर. सो द गवर्नमेंट डज नॉट हैव एनी मनी, the government does not have any money to so the government does not have any money to recapitalize these banks. Okay, so this is the important thing. Okay, so now we come to the next part. So this is why the market share shift is happening. So if you can connect this with this, so if you can connect this with this slide, yeah. So again coming back to this, so 74 से 59 हुआ था, that was pre covid level. And ये है current situation. So now do you understand? Now Uday Kotak actually also has made a comment. Uday Kotak is the chairman and the founder of Kotak Mahindra Bank. He even said that very soon we are going to see a 50-50 market share between private and public. So और ये जो 50-50 मार्केट शेयर है, व्हाट एम आई ट्राइंग टू टेल यू कि पोस्ट कोविड वर्ल्ड में ये और भी एक्सेलरेटेड लेवल में चला जाएगा. दैट मीन्स इट्स लाइक अ पैराडाइम शिफ्ट, and hence the webinar actually. Okay, so let's move on to the next part. So moratorium, I think it's clear, right? It's basically the percentage of loans जिसमें लोगों ने interest नहीं pay किया. It's as simple as that. Okay, now let's come back to this part. Okay, this last fourth point, which is called provisions. Now provisions होता क्या है? I'm giving a very small example. Now let's say a bank gives out 100 rupees loans to let's say 3 customers. Okay, so let's say एक customer होता है जो let's say एक TCS में काम कर रहा है, जिसका stable cash flow है, जिसको let's say बैंक ने एक पैसा X दिया, 100 rupees में से बता रहा हूँ. एक दूसरा कस्टमर है, लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल जो कस्टमर अपना छोटा सा एक बिजनेस कर रहा है, उसको Y दिया. एंड लेट्स से एक तीसरा कस्टमर है, लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल जो कि अनएम्प्लॉयड है, ठीक है, बट जो बैंक को आके कुछ बोल के गया कि मैं आई डू दिस, आई डू दैट, जिसने लाइक लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल हैज सोल्ड सम ड्रीम्स टू द बैंक एंड द बैंक हैज गिवन आउट सम लोन्स व्हिच हर्षद मेहता डिड बैक इन 1992. So now there are three things. Just give me a second. এটাকে মিউট করতো. আমি তাহলে বলেই দিচ্ছি.
আমি করে দিচ্ছি ওখান থেকে.
Yeah, so sorry for the delay. Yeah, so basically what is provision? So when you have 3 set of customers with you, right? A bank, let's say a bank, what it does is, since they have paid 100 rupees, they have to keep track of the customers. What are they doing? What is their business model? Are they generating cash flow month on month? नहीं तो बैंक को EMI कैसे देंगे, right? But then customer C जो कि unemployed है, a greater chance होता है कि वो customer C will default on its loan, right? That is more than customer B which runs a very small business, and उसका भी so सबसे कम chance है, let's say जो TCS में काम कर रहा है, जिसका एकदम एक stable job है and एक stable salary है. So the bank has to set aside some amount of capital in case वो customer default करे. That capital is called the provision capital. Okay, so let's say अगर बैंक ने 100 रुपए डाला, सो इफ आई एम द ओनर ऑफ अ बैंक एंड आई बिलीव द कस्टमर सी शायद अपना लोन दे नहीं पाएगा, राइट? सो व्हाट आई डू इज, जो कस्टमर सी को मैंने लोन दिया था वो मैं अपना बुक्स में प्रोविजन करके रख दूंगा, सो दैट इन केस द कस्टमर डिफॉल्ट्स इन द फ्यूचर माय बैलेंस शीट इज प्रोटेक्टेड. सो if you see this now this line that the public sector banks कुछ 8 गुना provision बना है public sector bank से. Look at this. Now this is the scary part of the public sector bank. तो private sector banks जिनका moratorium book almost 40% level में है, उन्होंने आज कुछ provisions किया ही नहीं है. And look at the private sector banks. उन्होंने actually the thing is ये तो उल्टा होना चाहिए था, right? That the private sector banks should have made 8 times the provisions, 8 times the reserves. कि अगर कुछ problem आ जाए. But then when you look at these two figures, then this is the problem. So coming back to this is why the paradigm shift is actually happening. And that's why I'm doing this webinar, because at the end of, let's say in the next 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, private sector banks are actually, I mean, when I say private sector banks, I mean well-run private sector banks. मतलब don't think that हर private sector bank are saints. No. But well-run private sector banks are going to rule the roost. So as investors, we have an immense opportunity in front of us. So let's move on to the next thing. So ये देखिए, तो this is the State Bank of India का stock in the last 15 years, like nothing. And this stock market में लोग तो ठीक है, you can trade and make that quick buck, okay? But in the long run, a stock chart always gives out the reality. So State Bank ने कुछ नहीं दिया, and now you know why. पीएनबी का हालत देखिए, 15 साल में नेगेटिव रिटर्न दिया है. सो व्हाई इज दिस हैपनिंग? इट इज ओनली हैपनिंग. सो बेसिकली आज आप अगर मेरे को बोलते हो कि स्टेट बैंक में, बिकॉज देयर इज स्टिल दिस ऑरा अराउंड एवरीबॉडी कि स्टेट बैंक में पैसा डाल दो, बिकॉज स्टेट बैंक सबसे बड़ा है. अरे भाई साहब देखो, यहां पे द प्रॉब्लम क्या हो रहा है ना, वो हमारा थिंकिंग है. अगर हम रिसर्च करते हैं, अगर हम नंबर्स पे फोकस करते हैं, देन वी अंडरस्टैंड द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया. ऐसे आंखों बंद करके वी कांट से कि लाइक स्टेट बैंक में पैसा डाल दो, स्टेट बैंक बना के देगा. स्टेट बैंक विल नॉट मेक यू मनी. पीएनबी, कनाडा बैंक, बैंक ऑफ इंडिया विल नॉट मेक यू मनी. और आगे जाके तो इनका हालत और भी बुरा होने वाला है, क्योंकि कितना मोराटोरियम में कितना मिलने वाला है, क्या एनपीए है, प्रोविजंस भी नहीं किया हुआ है. सो इट बिकम्स अ ह्यूज प्रॉब्लम फॉर द पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक्स. सो नाउ वी मूव ऑन. ओके, सो नाउ let's focus on the right part. Okay, I mean as I said कि मार्केट शेयर शिफ्ट हो रहा है गलत साइड में. तो गलत साइड हमने एक्सप्लेन किया कि गलत साइड इज द पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक्स. नाउ व्हाट आर द राइट साइड्स, राइट? लाइक जहां पे you can invest and you can probably build a lot of wealth in the next decade. So these are the attributes of a high quality private sector bank. Because अगर ये attributes नहीं रहा, so it becomes very difficult. It actually becomes very difficult for a private sector bank to accumulate wealth. So there are 9 points here. Okay, so we are going to take the example of a well-run private sector bank from and we'll explain these points. Okay, so just a simple overview. If you just look at these points, you would see that let's take point number 3. Okay, so point number 3 says कि the bank has to have a very strong underwriting skill. मतलब देखिए, आज कोई भी पैसा तो लोन दे सकता है, राइट? एनीबॉडी कैन लेंड, राइट? एनीबॉडी. आज मैं 100 रुपए लेके आपके पास आऊं, डू यू वांट? यू विल से यस. बट a great banker or a great bank has to ensure that a return of capital is way more important than return on capital, right? तो अगर मुझे आज आकर बोलता है कि आई गिव यू 20%, मुझे 100 रुपए दे दो, राइट? बट देन क्या होता है कि इफ यू आर गालेबल तो आप 20% ही देखोगे, लेकिन क्या पता आपका 100 रुपए गायब हो जाए. दैट इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाट हैपेंड टू येस बैंक एंड विथ राणा कपूर. राणा कपूर ने रिटर्न ऑफ कैपिटल देखा ही नहीं था, इसीलिए येस बैंक खत्म हो गया और फिर उसको स्टेट बैंक ले लिया. एंड देन सो मच रकस, DHFL, ILNFS and all the problems because greed, when you exhibit greed, that is when you focus on return on capital. ये जो सुब्रत रॉय सहारा स्कैम हुआ था, nobody asked कि रिस्क मैनेजमेंट क्या है, राइट? प्रॉब्लम क्या हो सकता है? बट नहीं, सुब्रत रॉय ने बोल दिया साल के एंड में पैसा डबल होगा, तो चलो सब पैसा डाल दो. तो क्या हुआ? कोर्ट में गए लोग, बहुत झमेला किया, बट देन nothing happened. So a great banker will always focus on return of capital कि हमको पैसा वापस मिल रहा है कि नहीं. If you don't get that capital, banking makes no sense for you. Okay, so these are the points, and now I'm going to give you a very good example of a well-run private sector bank, which by the way is not a recommendation, and I will be using that bank just to drive home the point. Yes, so the bank is Kotak Mahindra Bank. So Kotak Mahindra Bank, again another disclosure that Kotak Mahindra Bank is something that I own for my family. So there can be certain opinions that can be biased. Okay, so that's also something that you need to keep in mind. Yeah. So we are now going to talk about the good things. I mean good things in the sense that like the attributes of a high quality private sector bank, taking the examples of Kotak Mahindra Bank, because without examples none of this makes sense. Okay, the first thing is important in banking. In banking, the first important thing is management. if the top man in your bank is greedy, if the top banker, like let's say for example वो सरकार के इशारों पे चलता है, then that bank is destined for, I mean it is actually destined to fall. Okay, like PNB हो जाए, so State Bank हो जाए, तो इनका chairman लोग, what happens to their chairman is कि like they have to follow the agenda of the government. So ऐसे नहीं चलेगा. येस बैंक जैसा देखिए, नाउ येस बैंक इज अ प्राइवेट सेक्टर बैंक, राइट, बट देन प्राइवेट सेक्टर बैंक में एज आई सेड एवरीबॉडी इज नॉट अ सेंट. सो यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड एंड यू हैव टू सिलेक्ट अ बैंक जो कि एक अच्छी वेल रन, वेल मैनेज्ड, वेल गवर्नड प्राइवेट सेक्टर बैंक है, जो बैंक हमेशा यही देखता है कि जो अपना शेयर होल्डर से, बोरोवर से और अपना डिपॉजिटर से उनका इंटरेस्ट को देखे, राइट, अपने लिए काम नहीं करे, सबके लिए काम करे. सो दैट इज वी कम टू दिस. सो उदय कोटक, सो हु इज उदय कोटक? So Uday Kotak, Uday Kotak founded Kotak Mahindra Bank मुंबई में 300 स्क्वायर फीट के एक फ्लैट के अंदर in 1985. And interesting anecdote is Anand Mahindra of the Mahindra Group actually paid Uday Kotak 1 lakh rupees at that point in time to get his banking license and get the business started. So that's how Kotak Mahindra Bank started in 1985. उनका IPO आया स्टॉक मार्केट में आई थिंक इन द ईयर 1993 1994. एंड टू मी उदय कोटक इज द बेस्ट बैंकर. उदय कोटक इज प्रॉब्ली द बेस्ट बैंकर इन द वर्ल्ड. आई एम नॉट सेइंग इंडिया, ओके, बिकॉज आज आप यूएस में देखोगे 2008 में उनका क्राइसिस हुआ है. आज इंग्लैंड में बैंक ऑफ इंग्लैंड भी बहुत सारे मतलब झोल में फंसे थे. दे वेर इनटू अ लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स. बट इफ यू सी Uday Kotak has certain philosophies. So Uday Kotak will actually teach you banking more than any MBA college. Will actually teach you banking, more banking. And I am not talking to you here like an Uday Kotak fanboy. No, because many people have come and told me like whenever you come and talk to me, I say Uday Kotak. But let me say like why Uday Kotak? Uday Kotak is a great banker. And by the way, Uday Kotak is also the richest banker in the world. तो देखो, तो दुनिया में जो कोई richest बनता है, he must have done something right? So his net worth is approximately now I think $16 billion, making him the richest banker. So first thing is like entrepreneurial spirit. Like Uday Kotak, as I said, he founded the bank, right? वो बैंक उसका बच्चे के तरह है, right? So Uday Kotak will never do anything to jeopardize the reputation and the integrity of the bank. Second is, as I said, risk return metric. पहले Uday Kotak देखता है कि रिस्क क्या है. मतलब कोई कोटक बैंक में जाके अगर बोलता है कि मेरे को लोन दो, पहले वो देखता है कि इस बंदे का औकात है कि नहीं, कि वो पैसा वापस करेगा कि नहीं, राइट? फिर जाके कोटक सोचता है कि हम उसको पैसा देंगे कि नहीं. Third is the viability of borrowers and focus on cash flow over collateral. This is a very important point. Generally मैंने देखा है कि पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक क्या करते हैं, कोई गांव वाला के बोलता है कि I have some land, okay, I have some land, so give me loans. Then let's say when that farmer, let's say, defaults, or when that guy defaults and he runs away, oh, I'm sorry, okay, fine, I'll speak in English. Thanks, Anand. Yeah. So yes. So basically what is happening in this case is कि वो किसान तो भाग गया. Oh, I'm sorry, again I'm speaking in English. That farmer has run away, okay, but then what will the bank do with the land, right? A bank is not in the business of land, right? It's not in the business of real estate. What Uday Kotak does is Uday Kotak looks at the cash flow of that business, cash flow of that borrower. So no matter how much collateral you have, right? Uday Kotak only focuses on your business model before giving out your loan. So if he sees that your business model is cyclical, if he sees your business model is not sustainable, Uday Kotak will not give you a loan. Okay, so that is why Kotak Mahindra Bank is a bank for high quality customers, right? Kotak Mahindra Bank will never involve itself with low quality MSMEs and SMEs and those village people just for the sake of that extra group loan. Because if you look at Bandhan Bank, the Bandhan Bank actually takes like Bandhan Bank actually demands a loan on an interest of up to 25%. Can you imagine? If I charge 25% from you every year, then मतलब what a kind of a business are you doing that you're giving me 25? मतलब you are earning more than 25. बाप रे. In this COVID world, can you even earn more than, can you even think of 25%? So what is the business model of Bandhan Bank? It's not sustainable, right? So hence I completely stay out of that bank. The other important thing is Uday Kotak has conviction and with a contrarian attitude. So I'll give you that example of contrarian attitude. Why is it so very important when you are a top banker and when you select a good bank? The thing is, what he does is, whenever he sees some stress in a particular sector, he pulls the brake. He he is not greedy. He doesn't lend because everyone else is lending, right? Because I'll talk about unsecured retail books. So Bajaj Finance and HDFC Bank actually started this unsecured thing back in 2008. So previously what used to happen was like every bank was a corporate bank. Like ICICI India का सबसे बड़ा corporate bank है. They only give out corporate loans to these big corporate houses. But think about this. When this retail rush came, Bajaj Finance developed their own model. अब अपना एनालिटिकल मॉडल बनाया एंड बजाज फाइनेंस इज एन एनबीएफसी बोल सकते हो, बट देन बजाज फाइनेंस इज एक्चुअली डेटा एनालिटिक्स कंपनी. सो बजाज फाइनेंस हैज सो मच डेटा ऑन एवरी हाउस होल्ड. बजाज फाइनेंस लेट्स से सेल्स यू अ फ्रिज टुडे, टुमारो दे विल सेल यू एन एसी, द डे आफ्टर टुमारो दे विल सेल यू अ फ्रिज. एंड क्या होगा, जस्ट लाइक एप्पल, बजाज फाइनेंस टेक्स यू इन. But Bajaj Finance and HDFC Bank were widely successful between 2008 and 2016. What happened in the post-2016 era? These corporate banks like Axis and ICICI and Bandhan thought, okay, since they are doing it, we'll also be doing it. But Uday Kotak never did such a thing. Uday Kotak has been warning about this unsecured retail lending for the past 2 to 3 years. He is saying that since, matlab, anywhere you go, where there is a rush, where there is a mad rush, there is bound to be mistakes. That also happens in a stock, right? Like whenever everybody is jumping to buy a particular stock, ultimately usme people lose their money. That is exactly what happened. And with COVID, the particular segment that suffered the most was unsecured lending. So the people who took personal loans, the people who took credit cards, right? These are the people who suffered the most, right? The urban people, the urban poor people suffered the most. So when you have lost your job, how can you pay your credit card bills, right? मतलब कोई collateral है भी नहीं, there is no collateral. So that means what? That means the banks which were very bullish on unsecured lending are in some deep waters. Okay. So Uday Kotak doesn't do all these things. Uday Kotak does what he feels is right. He has his ears to the ground. He talks to the people of this country and he knows where to lend, when to lend and when not to lend. So this is what makes Uday Kotak different from the other bankers in the country. The other important factor is like that Uday Kotak is one person that has survived a lot of crises. That means what? If I invest in a bank, I would invest. Now I'll tell you why I invested with Kotak Mahindra Bank. Kotak Mahindra Bank, I invested a lot of money in that crash in March. I'll tell you why I did. Because Uday Kotak saw the 1998 Asian financial crisis. Uday Kotak saw the 2001 bubble bust, the US bubble bust that also affected India. Uday Kotak also successfully saw the 2008 global financial crisis, demonetization, GST. So if Uday Kotak can survive all these things, when actually COVID happened in March, the first instinct I had was that Uday Kotak will also survive COVID, correct? But when you look at the management of banks like Bandhan, Axis, ICICI, those are new management, right? They have never seen a crisis in their life. So how can you bet your money on a bank and say, like for example, State Bank ने पिछले 10 साल में has changed over 4 chairmen. So basically 4 CEOs in the last 10 years. So what is the guarantee? कि जो स्टेट बैंक का सीईओ अभी बन रहा है, so the CEO the current CEO of State Bank is going to ward off successfully this COVID crisis and come out clean on the other side. Plus you saw the moratorium number and the soup that they are in. So this is what makes Uday Kotak different, because Uday Kotak always assumes, see, Uday Kotak also believes in rational optimism. Now, what is rational optimism? Rational optimism means that Uday Kotak always believes that long term mein, things will only get better. But when I say things will only get better, things will not only get better each and every day. There will be a lot of potholes. Let me give you the example of Sensex. It was 100 at 1979 and kuch din pehle people were celebrating Sensex at 50,000. But think about this journey from 100 to 50,000 was not a linear journey. We had the Harshad Mehta scam, Ketan Parekh scam, the bubble bust, the Asian financial crisis, DHFL, ILFS, Yes Bank, and so much, and then COVID as well. But then what Uday Kotak says is, this is called rational optimism. I would always be optimistic towards the future. नहीं तो life में आगे कैसे बढ़ोगे? But then you always have to be prepared for the worst. And this philosophy actually makes him different from any other banker in this country. So let's move on to the next thing. Yes. So this is actually the slide on strong underwriting skills. So strong underwriting skills means, so this is where we see, so this is the details of Kotak Mahindra Bank. So all the data that you're going to see from here on are the data of Kotak Mahindra Bank. So if you see the net NPA, so what is the net NPA? Net NPA means कि if I had given out a loan of 100 rupees, how much I did not get back. So if you take the FY20 data, 0.71% of 2,19,1798 crore is the number that Kotak Mahindra Bank is saying that it will not get back. So when you see this data, you see the consistency of the data, right? That means Uday Kotak has been, so मैंने FY13 से लिया, even if you go back to FY7, FY101, 2000, 1995, this NPA data has always been consistent. That means what? That means Uday Kotak has been a consistent performer, and that shows. Now I'll give you some comparative data. If you look at HDFC Bank has an NPA data very close to that of Kotak's. So HDFC Bank and Kotak Bank are actually the well-run, well-managed, well-governed private sector banks in India. But अगर आप देखोगे State Bank of India, PNB, so PNB has an NPA that's close to 8.5 to 10%, and that was a pre-COVID data I'm giving you. I don't know what will be their situation. Bandhan Bank actually gave their pro forma NPA data in the last quarter. Their results actually came out last week, and it was 7.71%. Now you tell me one thing. Now you know why that happened. Because Bandhan Bank had always targeted, you know, the people, the borrowers of Bandhan Bank were never people, and I mean their credit quality was always questionable, right? But Kotak Mahindra Bank never does that. Kotak Mahindra Bank, even if they are getting 2% less on their loans, they would still keep on doing it because Uday Kotak believes in sustainability of a particular business model. So let's move on to the next part. Yes, the deposit flow. Now, what do you mean when I say deposit flow? So bank का तो deposit आता है, right? So basically, as I said in the first slide when I talked about how a bank works. So there are multiple avenues where a bank can actually get deposits. One is of course from current account and savings account. Those the banks get actually from the retail customers and the corporate customers. The other ways banks can get deposits are the wholesale market. So let's say for example बैंक जाके किसी और बैंक से पैसा ले सकता है, right? बैंक जाके कोई bond issue कर सकता है, and they can raise money. So and even banks have been doing this concept called external commercial borrowing when banks are actually raising capital, raising deposits from places outside this country. But then our focus is a great bank generally has a higher percentage of CASA to their total deposit. Now CASA is current account and savings account, right? So CASA is a sustainable deposit base of a particular bank. Higher the CASA percentage to the total deposit, higher it is. And CASA में क्या होता है? Bank gets cheaper and cheaper capital because current account में what is the interest rate? It's actually very close to zero, right? And savings account में कितना होता है? 3-4-5%. But when you raise capital from the wholesale market, or let's say for example आप अगर FD raise किया, for example when you buy an FD from a bank, 7 to 8% का आपका हो जाता है. Okay, so लोअर कॉस्ट. सो एक बैंक का कॉस्ट ऑफ बोरोइंग जितना कम होगा बैंक का प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी उतना सही होगा. नाउ यू सी कि व्हाट उदय कोटक हैज डन विद द कासा फ्रेंचाइज. यू सी दिस नंबर वाज 29% टू टोटल डिपॉजिट्स एंड इट हैज गॉन अप टू 57.5%. That means what? So this actually happened back in 2011 when I think many of you will be aware of this. Kotak Mahindra Bank started with a 6% savings account scheme just to build the CASA franchise. Okay, so and then the last particular item is cost of savings account. Now if you see, the cost of savings account has drastically fallen from 5.23 to 3.87. So what has this happened कि कोटक ने अभी वो 6% देना बंद कर दिया. Kotak no longer gives you 6% on that. But the great thing is the customers that came in Kotak and opened a deposit account are staying with Kotak Mahindra Bank. It's not like आपने 6% से 4% कर दिया and the customers are leaving. Generally, people don't switch their banking details like they change clothes. तो वैसा होता नहीं है. But then what Uday Kotak's mentality was, let me give 6% on this. Okay, let me bring in that customer. Yes, they are taking more of a hit on P&L on that year because Kotak was paying 700 to 800 to 900 crores every year because they were paying 6% when HDFC Bank was paying 3% on a savings account. But what Uday Kotak did was he brought that customer into their ecosystem. So this is exactly how that Apple ecosystem works, how the Bajaj Finance ecosystem works. कि एक बार आपका savings account I open, then I can give you a personal loan, then I can give you a credit card, then I can give you a mortgage loan, then I can give you a tractor loan, anything, right? So that person becomes a part of the ecosystem of Kotak Mahindra Bank. But now जब उनका deposit when the target is fulfilled, because 57% of CASA is the highest. HDFC Bank, I can tell you the number is 44%. SBI is 42%, and Axis and ICICI they are around 35 to 40%. So Kotak has done a wonderful job. Now जबकि ये काम खत्म हो गया है और के खत्म हो रहा है, सो उदय कोटक हैज रिड्यूस्ड इट. सो दैट इज ब्रिलियंट बैंकिंग. Okay, so on that note, I'll just take a couple of questions which has come. So from Ankita, I have a couple of questions. So let me just go through it. Huh. Yeah. So Ankita, it's a very good question. Like many people tell me, like what can the PSU banks do to increase market share, right? What can they do? The answer is something which unfortunately will never happen. The answer is privatization. That means the government has to relinquish the control of this PSU management. They have to stay away from the management of these businesses, or else nothing will happen, because the government are just using these organizations to make sure that the socio-economic conditions of the country stay relevant. Okay, the poor people. And to your first question, right? Of course, you are absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. कि आज अगर स्टेट बैंक ने गरीबों को, if state bank had not paid money to the poor people, what would have happened? Yes, but see, we are talking from an investor's perspective. See, if you really want to help the poor, right? You go and feed the poor. You go join an NGO, but don't invest in a Bandhan Bank or a State Bank of India thinking we'll be helping out the poor, right? Because you are investors, right? You are actually owning the business, right? So when you are owning the business, and if your business is not getting back the money that it is lending, so यहाँ पे unfortunately we have to keep our emotions aside. We have to stay with the best run banks. We have to stay with the banks which actually cater to the rich category of people. So a Bajaj Finance, HDFC Bank and Kotak Bank. I'll tell you the stock market returns of Bajaj Finance. Bajaj Finance kuch approximately 800 times in the last decade, right? Kotak Bank 50 to 60 times in last 10-15 years. HDFC Bank 20 to 40 times in the last 10-15-20 years. Now I'll tell you why this happened. It's because they have always been catering to the best possible customers. The borrowers were the best possible customers. The depositors were great. So this is why they could build an ecosystem around it. They could build a high quality franchise. And this is why as an investor, you make money out of it. So socialism issues, matlab, it doesn't fit in this model. Okay. So that is the thing. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Like Vicky has asked, like, what if Uday Kotak's philosophy is not adopted in principle? So Vicky, I'll come to that slide. Okay, so we have this slide, and there are many other questions. What if Uday Kotak dies, right? What if Uday Kotak goes away? What happens to Kotak Mahindra Bank? So we'll come to that. Okay, and a question by Moli, so saying that companies as good as its management. Yes, correct. So in banking, you're investing in the management. There is no concept called bank. So we are investing in banking. When I did that, I invested in Uday Kotak. I did not invest in Kotak Mahindra Bank. When I invest in HDFC Bank, I invested in Aditya Puri, right? So this is what makes the difference. Okay, so when you had invested in Yes Bank is as good as the person at the top, which was Rana Kapoor. And you saw what he did, right? He made concentrated bets in real estate sector and in the infrastructure sector. And at the end of the day, what happened? Because he is in control of capital allocation. He would at the end of the day decide where would the money flow, correct? So it is all at the end of the day choosing the banker. So banker is way more important than the bank. And banking में इतना brands वगैरह काम नहीं करता है. It doesn't matter how good a brand you are, right? Merrill Lynch was also a good brand. Bear Stearns was also a good brand, right? But what happens if the top banker, जब वो mortgage housing crisis में they gambled their money, they gambled their deposits money, then they ran out of business. Okay, so that's the other thing. Okay, next question is the government is planning divestment. So yeah, correct. So see Samyak. So this is a very important thing. So basically government ये तो plan कर ही रहा है, right? Like 10 years back I heard this story, 5 years back, 2 years back, 1 year back. So see, you can't put your hard-earned money based on hope, correct? It's just like I'm telling you, okay, give me 100 crores, tomorrow I'll be Steve Jobs. Right? Would you pay me 100 crores? No. You won't even pay me 1 rupee. Correct? Because you're like, what do you have? So don't bet your money on anybody's goals. I'm sorry, on anybody's hopes. राइट लाइक सुब्रत रॉय ने बहुत सारे होप्स दिखाया था, विजय माल्या ने तो बोला था किंगफिशर स्ट्रॉन्ग को तो बहुत कुछ करवाएगा, राइट? बट देन व्हाट हैपेंस हियर इज द पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक्स आर एक्चुअली द वंस हु एक्चुअली फॉल प्रे टू द होप्स. Harshad Mehta series, I think many of you have seen. Harshad Mehta was actually a very good storyteller. So generally what happens, what I actually tell people, the greatest asset that a person can have is that if the person is a very good storyteller, right? And that his worth of story is way more than gold and diamond and stocks that you can own. So that's the other thing. Okay, now The next question is from Shantanu, government policy of an investor. We can track. Yes. So Shantanu, the answer is annual reports and conference call transcripts, right? So that is the only time when you can hear Uday Kotak. So when I say Kotak Mahindra Bank, I have invested in Kotak Mahindra Bank. So I follow Uday Kotak in every conference call. I listen to him. I listen to the transcripts of the bank, and I also read the annual reports when it comes out. Okay. Now Ashish, what you are actually telling me that Bandhan Bank has a net NPA of 0.26%, right? But I gave you a data like Bandhan Bank Q3, their pro forma NPA is 7.71%. Now your data is actually backdated. That's the first point. The second thing is what did I tell you? कि the Bandhan model is not sustainable. अगर आप किसी को 25-20% में अगर आप किसी को लोन दे रहे हो, how long do you think it's sustainable? And okay, Bandhan let's say has opened a branch and let's say वो 25% में किसी को लोन दे रहा है. Let's say an HDFC branch comes in that locality, that village. HDFC Bank comes and gives the same thing. Let's say a gold loan at 9%. I'll give you another example. So gold loans at SBI is at 7.75%. Gold loans at Manappuram is at 22%. Now Ashish, you tell me, आप कहाँ जाओगे? If you have a good credit quality, if you have a good job, you will get that gold loan at 7%, right? You will pay 7%, like 7 rupees for every 100 rupees. But if let's say you are a customer of questionable character, आपका कोई credit score नहीं है, आपका job नहीं है, you can't even enter the premises of SBI or HDFC Bank or a Kotak Bank or an ICICI Bank. So Bandhan Bank, so you have to understand it. So don't look at the numbers. So I keep on telling this, can numbers tell you a lot, but numbers alone tell you nothing about the world. So you have to understand the whole picture, the whole ecosystem. So Bandhan's model is not sustainable. So if you still invest in Bandhan, I believe, so see, this is my opinion, right? This is no recommendation or nothing. I would never put my money in a system where the entire ecosystem is not sustainable. Okay. So yeah, like it's a zamindari system. Absolutely correct. Yeah. Okay. So that's the thing. Okay. So let's move on to the next part. Yes. So the next part is very important, is like, so by the way, PSB is private sector banks. Okay. So see this part. So what is capital adequacy ratio? Let me just explain capital adequacy ratio in very simple terms. So let's say if a bank had given out 100 rupees, a bank has given out 100 rupees in different sectors, right? Some sectors are less risky, some sectors are more risky. Let's say a bank has given some money to Coal India. But everybody knows that Coal India is going to pay back because it's run by government money. So bank can keep a the risk weight of that particular part of 100 rupees will be lower. Okay. But then let's say a bank, let's say invests a certain amount of money, let's say in real estate, when the risk weight is higher. So what the bank does is, so pakad lo bank ka ek jhola hai, theek hai? So this bank has a treasure, when the bank has to keep this extra cash with it in case things go wrong. This is very similar to the provision concept. Okay, so capital adequacy ratio is the capital that the bank keeps with itself. Let's say the capital adequacy ratio of Kotak is 23%. So what does it mean? So that means Kotak has 23 rupees and 40 paisa ready with them in anticipation कि आगे जाके दो चीजें हो सकता है, in anticipation of two things. One, some of the borrowers of Kotak can default, correct? So Kotak will use a part of this 23 and would clean up the books. That's the first thing. Second is the growth capital. So what do I mean by growth capital? So let's say agar all the borrowers are doing a fantastic job. I mean the borrowers are paying back their time. Moratorium book तो आपने देखे हो कि like Kotak, HDFC, ICICI इनका moratorium books are very less. So that means उनका majority assets are standard assets. They are not stressed assets. So when that kind of a situation comes, what does this bank do with this capital? The bank uses this capital for growth. That means the bank gives out loans to certain sectors. जहाँ से क्योंकि देखो, if a bank stops paying loans, how will the bank grow? Correct? So this is the difference. Now there is another difference, and जहाँ से PSU banks में से private sector bank में this paradigm shift is happening. Look at the capital adequacy ratio of PSU banks. It's between 9 and 13%. My friend actually, so my friend's dad has been working in SBI for a long time. So my friend tells me that his dad told him that SBI has a capital adequacy ratio of always around 12, 13, 14%. Okay. So that means what? That means SBI has always been stressed. SBI, because if you don't have enough capital, you always have to go back to the government and say, like, please give us money. And that is exactly what you have been seeing, because in the last 10 years, I think the government has recapitalized the PSU banks with over 3 lakh crore. Now, ये जो 3 lakh crore recapitalized बात कर रहा हूँ, that is your and my money. That is the money that we pay through our taxes. करेक्ट. सो ये दिस इज अ विशियस साइकिल दैट वी पे आवर टैक्सेस, पूरा साल मेहनत करके ऑफिस जाके, राइट, ट्रैफिक में फंस के, द मनी वी अर्न वी पे लेट्स से 20% टैक्सेस, 30% टैक्सेस, एंड वही टैक्स को लेके सरकार एसबीआई को देता है, एसबीआई एनपीए बनाता है, फिर एसबीआई बोलता है फिर से सरकार को पैसा दो, सरकार तुम्हारा टैक्स बढ़ा देता है और तुम वही सरकार को पैसा देते हो. सो लॉन्ग स्टोरी शॉर्ट, this is a vicious cycle in the PSU sector. So this is the thing that's been going on since the time Indira Gandhi in 1968 decided to nationalize those banks. So this is the problem. So if you see the another difference, that PSU banks 9 to 13%, but private sector banks ka dekho, the private sector banks are between 18 to 22%. Kotak actually has the highest capital adequacy ratio in the COVID world. This is actually Q2 FY21 data. So HDFC Bank came out with its Q3 results like last week, and their capital adequacy ratio was at 19.5% to 20%. So what is this? So there is this concept called Basel III norms. That means if you give out 100 rupees, you must have 11 rupees with you. You must have it. If you don't, you can't afford to give out more loans. Correct? I'll tell you now the capital adequacy ratio of PNB. That's 9.53%. The capital adequacy ratio of Bank of Baroda, it's around 9.9%. And State Bank of India, I think it's just touching 11.5%. This is why I am excited to make this webinar and to make you understand that the public sector banks are in no position to lend in the next phase of the economic growth run of this country. Tamal Bandhopadhyay, who is a very good financial journalist, made a very important point. So in a book called Pandemonium, in that book it's written that in the last 2 years, more than 80 to 85% of incremental loans and incremental deposits have come from private sector banks. So when I say this figure, when I tell you this figure, again I'm sorry, I'm going back to that figure. Yes, this 59 to 60%, so it's looking right now. To me, if you ask me, see again, I can be biased towards the private sector bank as well, correct? So keeping that in mind, I say this becomes 70-30. 70 to private sector banks and 30 to public sector banks by 2030. So that is how I have looked at it. Again, it's a prediction, right? So I mean, like, please don't act on any prediction that I make. Please only focus on the facts. Okay. So this is the part. Now look at this. Now what I said, like the first point, if your bank makes concentrated bets, then it becomes very difficult, because if that sector doesn't work out, then your entire loan amount can also go bust. Like what happened to Yes Bank, like what happened to DHFL, the Vadavan group. So look at Uday Kotak's distribution. Look at how Kotak has a diversified book. So they have home loans, loan against property, then they have personal loans, bank loans, credit cards, commercial vehicle loans, agri loans, tractor loans, corporate loans, SME loans. So this entire book of Kotak, which is 2,18,790 crores, signifies that Uday Kotak has diversified among the best players in every sector. Right? But Uday Kotak is not greedy. Uday Kotak will not go to a real estate agent and say, oh, can you give me 25-30%? Okay, let me just take out all the home loans, let me take out all the mortgage loans and agri loans, and I will give it to you. Right? Uday Kotak will never do that. So this is what makes Kotak difference. If you see HDFC's book, HDFC Bank is what I'm talking about, 50% of the book is corporate and 50% of the book is retail. But then the problem lies with banks which are highly concentrated, like the example of Yes Bank that I gave. So moving on to the next thing. Vicky, this slide is exactly because Vicky has been asking this question for a long time, and many other people have also said, like, what happens if Uday Kotak goes away, right? I can tell you one thing. If Uday Kotak goes away, I stay with Kotak Bank. I don't leave Kotak Bank. I tell you why. Look at the other people. Deepak Gupta, Shanti Ekambaram, Jaimin Bhatt. Look at the year that they joined the banks. 1991, 1992. So Uday Kotak, so the hallmark of a great leader is that they create leaders around them. That is what makes them a great leader. So this is that first point in that doc, which is succession planning. I'll give you the example of this big company called Tata Consultancy Services. TCS, Rajesh Gopinathan is now the CEO of this company, right? TCS का कोई भी CEO देख लो, that has come from inside that company, right? So the person who did not understand a business model like TCS completely left the stock जब TCS का पहला CEO छोड़ दिया था, right? But that is not how it works. I'll tell you this guy Deepak Gupta, Jaimin Bhatt, Shanti Ekambaram, if they leave Kotak, they can create another Kotak of their own because it's in their blood. And I'll tell you, This conviction only comes when you read annual reports. This conviction doesn't come when you just watch CNBC and TV18. Those are nonsense. This conviction comes when you are following the career of Deepak Gupta and Jaimin Bhatt for the last 10, 15, 20 years. So I have read annual reports and management conference called transcripts of Kotak for over 15, 20 years. And I can tell you that these people are amazing. These people are amazing bankers of their own. And the other important thing what makes them great is Uday Kotak has made them work in different divisions in different time spans. So let's say Shanti Ekambaram. Today she is in head of consumer banking. 5 years back she was part of the commercial book. 5 years back she was part of the corporate book. So every person, like for example a Gaurang Shah, and these are the list. So there are 5-6 other names. Since I had to put it in one slide, I could not take all the names. So every person has worked in every facets of Kotak. So as I said, Kotak is nothing but an entrepreneurial. So Kotak signifies the spirit of an entrepreneur. That is what we need as an investment, right? That is what I believe, because these people love Kotak Bank. They are not doing it for salary. And just to finish off this simple point, that these are the same people who took a pay cut in COVID so that mid-level management and low-level management ka salary na kam ho jaye, right? So this is what makes it. So banking, as Moli said, banking is nothing but management. Uday Kotak is not. Uday Kotak does not take the highest salary in the industry. Uday Kotak has the highest stake of Kotak. He owns 26%. So when will you have more stake and less salary? It's because when you have love for your business, right? But then if a CEO comes in for the sake of salary, us bank ka to I don't know what can happen. Okay. So this is what makes Kotak Mahindra Bank different. This is what makes Kotak Mahindra Bank and their management probably one of the best in the world. Let's move on. I think Vicky, you have got the answer to this. Okay. So now comes the other important part. Okay, so now people are moving from physical to digital in banking. I mean, among all these people, can you guys kindly tell me, like you don't have to tell me, but you guys can actually ask yourself, like, how many times have you visited a bank branch in the last year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? Very less, right? So this is why. So the banks that have gone digital have actually captured that market share. So that from that 75% market share to that 60% market share loss for PSB, sorry, for the PSUs or the public sector banks, it's because the public sector banks, except an SBI has a good digital platform in Yono. Apart from SBI, no other public sector bank has any decent digital platforms. Now I'll tell you what happened during COVID. If you look at point 2, Kotak Mahindra Bank had opened 44 lakh savings account in April and May. That culminates to around 14,000 to 15,000 account opening when the entire country was in lockdown. Do you think a Bank of Baroda could have done that? No. Do you think a PNB did that? No. So what happened? What happens in a pre-COVID world? The good banks, the highly digitized banks, they become better because now we are moving into a digital world. Uday Kotak also talks about this branch expansion thing. So Kotak Mahindra Bank has 1600 branches. Now Uday Kotak tells, because HDFC Bank has 5000 branches. State Bank of India, I think, has around 15,000 branches. I mean, somewhere in that range. I'm not so sure about the exact number. Uday Kotak says, we don't need to expand branches like a headless chicken, because why do you increase a branch case? I mean, like, why do you do that? You do that because you want to get new customers, right? You want to build new relationship in a new geography. Uday Kotak has been doing that in a digital way, right? People don't even visit our branches. So that means kya? That means Kotak is acquiring customers at a very low cost. Branch में you don't have to pay rent, वहाँ पे salary नहीं देना पड़ रहा है लोगों को, फिर वहाँ पे बिजली का बिल नहीं आ रहा है. So what is this happening? This is again a paradigm shift that digital banks like HDFC Bank, again a small anecdote. So Aditya Puri, when he saw this fintech craze start in the US, he understood that these fintech companies will come to India one day and would sit on these banks and would make all the money. It's like I'll give you a small example. It's like how can I say? It's like banks का kitchen है, banks का सब कुछ है, banks का cutlery है, लेकिन fintech company आया अपने chicken बना के चला गया, ठीक है? So that's how the fintech. So Aditya Puri actually said, okay, no, we won't let the fintechs do that. We are going to create our own system, and this is again coming to the concept of disruption, right? This disruption is very similar to an Apple iPhone, and I mean, you could never have imagined a phone without a keypad prior to 2007, correct? So A bank which is digital is a disruptive bank. So if we are not in disruption, our management is lethargic. Our management says कि जो चल रहा है चलने दो, which is the philosophy of the public sector bank. Try to go and do a job in a public sector bank, you will probably have to sit in that branch for a long time. Bank of India and all, okay, like impossible, right? But if you go to a private sector bank, you immediately see a relationship manager coming to you, and he'll come with an iPad and he will try to sort things out for you. What do you need? He'll send you to a designated team and he'll probably come out. So basically, why do people go to a branch? To get a good high quality service. But the more important thing is time. Nobody cares कि बैंक का इंटीरियर में कितना डेकोरेशन किया हुआ है. Nobody cares actually. Everybody thinks कि बैंक में मैं जाऊंगा कितना जल्दी I can come out. Correct? So that is exactly what the private sector banks are doing. That is exactly what they're doing with the app structure, the digital structure. So this is what makes Kotak HDFC banks different. और आगे जाके क्या हो गया कि once you have missed the digital bus, it's very difficult to catch, because once you are a Kotak customer, once you are a HDFC customer, मतलब you're not mad, right? कि suddenly आपको लगा कि like, let's check out an inefficient bank again and let's go to PNB. You will never do that. So the bigger banks become bigger and the smaller ones become smaller. Okay, now comes the last part. Okay, so this comes as valuation. So if you see, Kotak is trading at 5 times price to book, when PNB is trading at 0.5 times price to book, SBI at 1.1 times price to book. What is price to book? So book is the total amount of loans you have given, and what is the price that the market is actually trying to give on that particular book. So Kotak Mahindra Bank is 10 times more expensive than PNB and 5 times more expensive than SBI. When the book of SBI, so SBI gives out loans in the tune of 24 lakh crores. Kotak gives out loans at 2 lakh crores. Yet, Kotak is 10 times more costly than SBI. How is it so, right? SBI is 10 times bigger, but Kotak is 10 times more expensive. That means the market is even telling you which is good and which is not so good. Okay, so in banking, please don't check valuation. If you feel Kotak is overvalued, stay away from the entire banking space. But don't go into crap thinking it's undervalued. This can happen in some other sector. You can do this in a media sector, power sector, in the coal sector in COVID. Okay, Coal India ka stock has gone down 80%. The only way is up for some time. Don't do that with banks, because the market is not an idiot. The market knows more than anybody. Okay. If you are a good organization, you have to pay a premium. So if you look at the PE ratios of companies like Asian Paints, Berger Paints, Pidilite and HDFC Bank, you will always have to buy them expensive. And I'm not recommending you to buy. I'm just saying you can never. So if many of you know what mainland China is and Flame and Grill. So if you want to go to mainland China, you have to pay 1,000 rupees for a buffet. You can't say like, I'll go to mainland China, but I'll get a buffet at 30 bucks. You cannot. Then you have to go to this egg roll ka dukan in your locality. ठीक है? So this is the concept that majority of retail investors miss. They believe that they believe that we are going to buy things cheap. No. The first thing is you have to buy quality. And once you have thought about the quality, once you have thought about the scope, the management, the company products, and everything is done, then comes valuation. So I get this question a lot, like PNB इतना सस्ता है, SBI तो is damn cheap, SBI is the biggest brand. भाई अगर SBI सस्ता है तो SBI ऐसा ही सस्ता था for the last 15 years. PNB ऐसा ही सस्ता था, right? So you are never going to make money. Correct? And you can only make money because that question that person asked, it can only happen if SBI privatizes, PNB privatizes, or else there is no hope. There is absolutely no hope. Now, just to finish off this slide, if you see point number 5K, इतना कुछ बोलने के बाद, after saying all these things, Kotak only has a 2% market share in the credit market. So out of 105 lakh crores, Kotak का loan book is 218. I mean like 105 lakh crores में Kotak is 2.18 lakh crores. That is even less than 2% if I am correct. 1 point something percent. So think about the scope of Kotak Mahindra Bank, जबकि एक side में public sector banks are literally like in the dumps in the post-COVID world. और बाकी कौन रहा? बट इंडिया हैज टू ग्रो, राइट? इंडिया का अगर क्रेडिट मार्केट ग्रो नहीं किया, इफ अ बिजनेस डजंट गेट अ लोन, हाउ विल द बिजनेस ग्रो? हाउ विल नरेंद्र मोदीज विजन ऑफ अ $5 trillion इकोनॉमी वर्क? इट विल नॉट वर्क, करेक्ट? सो इन दैट केस somebody has to provide the loan, right? So these are the banks that I believe are going to drive India's economic boom in the next 5, 10, 15 years. So, and this is the example. This is the example. This is the stock price of Kotak Mahindra Bank in the same last 15 years. You see, now you can actually fit the bill. Now you can actually place it and you can see why Kotak Mahindra Bank has given you a return of around 4,000% in the last And this is 4,000% without dividends. And I'm telling you, this only happened when Kotak has only captured 2% market share. Think about when Kotak will capture, let's say, 10% of market share. Chalo, 5% of market share. Immense wealth can be made, right? But then all I'm saying is कि छोटे छोटे चीजों पे don't keep focusing. Don't say कि Kotak is at all time high. Don't keep saying कि Kotak तो दुगुना. When Bajaj Finance went from 5 to 5,000, many retail investors did not buy because they thought 5 से 50 तो हो गया, 50 हो गया, क्या खरीदूं? See, you have to understand the scope first, correct? More than looking at the PE ratio and all that, because this actually narrows down your mind and makes you very timid. Look at the scope. The entire webinar was about the scope. The entire webinar was not about के Kotak ने कितना बना के दिया. But I am trying to tell you कि think about it. If you think rationally and logically, with the demise of many public sector banks, the scope of an HDFC bank and a Kotak bank and a Bajaj Finance, even an Axis and ICICI, the whole well-run private sector basket has immense scope. So please don't reject a company thinking के इसका stock तो दुगना हो गया है. It doesn't matter. राइट HDFC बैंक का स्टॉक 1,500 गुना हुआ है राइट IPO के बाद से सो यू हैव टू स्टार्ट थिंकिंग बिग देयर इज नो अपॉर्चुनिटी वेर यू थिंक लाइक सो इफ यू थिंक स्मॉल योर रिटर्न्स विल आल्सो बी स्मॉल राइट यू हैव टू स्टार्ट थिंकिंग ऑफ मेकिंग 10x 50x 100x 1000x नहीं तो मार्केट में क्या कर रहे हो भाई देन यू कैन गो एंड डू अदर थिंग्स देन यू डू अ फिक्स्ड डिपॉजिट आई हैव नो प्रॉब्लम्स विद दैट बट इफ यू आर इन द मार्केट सो मार्केट इज लाइक अ 7 course मील इन अ बफे बट यू आर टेलिंग मी यू आर गोइंग टू कम इन एंड जस्ट गोइंग टू गेट दैट फ्रूट जूस फ्री में पी के निकल जाओगे व्हाई right? The market is an immense place to gain a lot of wealth or sabki life can actually improve for the good. Everybody can get financial freedom, but then they have to be on the correct side of value migration. So it's not only about Kotak, the value migration is happening in each and every sector. And COVID ke baad to it's actually relevant. You see that in the power sector, you see that in the FMCG space, you see that in any other sector that there is serious consolidation. So if you are on the right side of consolidation, I tell you my friend, like Maruti consolidation, right? People left that Ambassador car, so Ambassador car was PNB. People left that Ambassador car and went to Maruti, which was an HDFC bank. Just look at what Maruti Suzuki ka stock has given in the last 20-25 years. I mean, my dad had an Ambassador car, he let it go and then he bought like probably 3 models of Maruti after that. But my dad could never have thought about it, कि if I love this car, if everybody is buying this car, why don't I invest in a company? अगर वैसा होता ना तो आज मेरे डैड के पास एक मारुति का शोरूम होता. Anyway, so that is different. So I don't need you guys. I don't need actually you guys to miss out on the next phase and don't underestimate India. So this is the conclusion. So I think I have covered most of the points in this. So look for value migration companies. Look for companies that are consolidating the sector. Like say for example, Asian Paints and Berger Paints dominate, let's say 60% of the market share in the paints industry. No recommendations. It's just that just to drive home the point I'm making this. The second thing is there are more than 40 sectors. There are certain sectors and every sector has 2 to 3 players that is capturing market share and are getting bigger and bigger with every passing year. So, and again I'm saying, okay, don't underestimate India, and I ended with invest in India. And I'm telling you, because you might think of the stock market ke like make that 10%, make that 50%. No, dream big, think 100x. You can actually make it. I am telling you, all the big investors today started small. So many people had this mentality के मेरे पास 5,000 है, I have 20,000. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala had 5,000 rupees in 1985 and his net worth today is north of 20,000 crore. Why? Because he believed in the story. He believed in it. If you don't believe in a thing, na, I'm telling you, then there is not even a point in opening a Demat account. You're just wasting your time trading. I am just saying, okay, believe in a story, believe in something. So today, it was my way of telling you a good story that might play out well for me. So again, no recommendations on that. Just want to tell you and just want to educate you on the banking. So on that note, this is my contact number. So there's my phone number, my WhatsApp number is also there. I'll be sharing that this presentation also on your email IDs as well. So anything you have, any questions you have, give me a ring, send me an email, and let's get started. Because India is on the cusp. India is actually on the cusp of a major economic run, and you can also see that because if you see, I'll just end it with India some data. If you see India's pollution level, it's in the pre-COVID level. That means the cars are back. The second thing is you look at the GST collections in December, 1.14 lakh crore, which is the highest GST collection in a month. Other important data are like the manufacturing PMI data. So the country is back. But the problem that lies with people is that when you open a news channel, when they open the media is always going to sell you fear. Right? The media is always going to focus on the people who are suffering. The media is not going to give you the whole story. So on a net basis, I'm saying India is better today than it was in the pre-COVID level. And don't look at the GDP data, because when you look at the GDP data, GDP is actually a backdated data. So in June, you got the GDP data between March and June, correct? In September, you got the GDP data between March and September. So only in 2020 end will you get a GDP data that actually signifies the current condition. So with the GST collection, pollution level, so these are numbers which are incremental. If you look at the tractor sales, record sales, like Mahindra and Mahindra and Escorts, which are the tractor companies, they have sold the highest number of tractors in their history in December, right? Escorts have done that in December itself. So what is this? So if you go to highways, there are millions and millions of trucks and tractors and the things. Of course, the economy will take time. The urban poor will take more time. There will be yojanas. There will be time. So the budget is coming, and the government is going to the government is going to take care of them. Of course, we are going to slowly develop. But then I'm telling you one thing, that progress is something that can never be seen. Only disaster. When a Bin Laden struck the World Trade Center, you saw a disaster that day when a plane crashes. So I'll give you a small data to finish this entire point. Okay, in 2016, 4 crore planes actually took off, out of which 16 crashed. So what is the probability of your plane crashing? 16 divided by 4 crore. You would take that bet, right? I think there is a higher probability of you dying in a car accident, or let's say in a road accident or a heart attack. But क्या होता है मीडिया में? The media takes those 16 cases और आपके सामने ऐसे दिखाता है ना कि like the plane is in flames, people are dying, people are crying. So you tend to believe that we are living in a very poor world, which is not the case. The world is brilliant, the world is amazing. 20 साल पहले आपको सड़क के मोड़ जाना पड़ता था टू बुक का कैब, एंड आज आपके फोन से कैब बोलो, खाना बोलो, हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस बोलो, होम लोन बोलो, सब कुछ हो जाता है. सो यू आर लिविंग इन अ मच बेटर वर्ल्ड, एंड दैट इज रिप्रेजेंटेड बाय सेंसेक्स. So 100 से ये जो 50,000 हुआ है, Sensex shows the reality of this country, and this country has a long way to go, as I said, in every particular space. So this financialization में जो चल रहा है कि आज सारे लोग traditional assets, low quality assets like real estate and gold. Gold, by the way, is not an investment. Gold is what you call, gold is a commodity. So when you are shifting to this, only 5% of Indians are in financialization. So huge scope. And if you can be a part of this, I'm telling you to just be a part of this. At least I can tell you कि आपका retirement तो बहुत अच्छा होगा. Okay. So on that note, I'm just going to take. I think there's this question on. Yeah, Akash has written. Yeah, correctly. On corporate governance plays a very crucial role. Correct. So on that note, I finish off the presentation, and. Guys, if you have any questions, you can like talk to me right now or post it. So tell me if you have anything. I didn't get anything as of now. I got a compliment actually. Oh, what are your budget expectations? No, I don't know. See, matlab, the thing is, if somebody tells you their expectation, that person is a fraud. Actually, how would I know what Sitaram is thinking, right? So never ever. So this is one field, okay. So see, there are certain fields where predictions can be made. Let's say, if you go to a heart surgeon, okay, he can look at your body and say, कि तेरे को ये हुआ है, correct? But never go to an economist, never go to an advisor, never go to anybody in this whole field of investments and ask them to predict. Because a budget में जो outcome है, there are millions of pieces that actually go into it for an outcome. So my answer is I don't know. But then the situation will always be like horses for courses. That is, budget में जो भी होगा, we will not be investing just for the sake of, budget में कौन सा stock जीतेगा या इस पे बारिश होगा तो क्या जीतेगा. No, we are not going to do such things. We are going to invest in high quality franchises. We are going to invest in solid businesses like the Kotak stock that you have seen. उसमें 15 years था, right? So they had 15 budgets. उसमें से तो World Trade Center भी शायद था नहीं, वो तो थोड़ा आगे था. But if you see this, कि कोई भी calamity आ जाए, कोई भी budget आ जाए, कोई भी situation आ जाए, a high quality business के साथ if you stay And don't be a fanboy, correct? Don't be a fanboy of Kotak. I'm not a fanboy. So I keep track of Uday Kotak's performance. I keep track of Kotak's numbers in every quarter. So see, I keep emotions completely aside. So कल अगर उदय कोटक ने कुछ घपला किया, if any problem comes out, I will sell my entire stake in Kotak Mahindra Bank in the next day. So Uday Kotak is not my wife and Kotak Mahindra Bank का stock is not my. So यहाँ पे emotions बाहर रखो and only talk about what do you say? Think from your head. Okay, so what is the source of the moratorium book data that you? Okay. So this is the thing that the banks have actually disclosed this moratorium book to the RBI. Okay, so basically what the banks do is, now the banks keep a track of the accounts. So let's say if a bank has 10 accounts, okay, 10 accounts of borrowers, out of which the bank knows, okay, let's say out of 10, 6 borrowers have gone for a moratorium. So immediately the bank knows, then the bank discloses that to the RBI first and then to the investment community. That's the first thing. Now, out of 6 borrowers, many of them did not take moratorium 2, correct? Many of them, let's say, got their business back, got their jobs back, or let's say just took that moratorium for the sake of safety. Like many of my friends actually did that as well. I mean, that was not a very poor decision as well. But then they took moratorium 1, but in moratorium 2 they saw, okay, no, things are not as bad as we expected. So then what happens is, out of 6 accounts, let's say if 3 comes, so 3 out of 6 the bank ticks off, and again they become standard loans. The rest 3 accounts for the next 6 months, which they haven't paid, are the book under moratorium. So यही पे State Bank का book under moratorium is approximately 8 lakh crores. So this is something that the bank discloses to the RBI and to us. So I think that's it. I mean, that is all there is to explain in this thing. So any other thing, please. I mean, like, see, any questions you have, please ask, because it's very important. Okay, what is private bank versus public bank share and Kotak share in private? Yeah, that's what I said. Okay, like we go back to this chart and again we go back to this. So yeah, so this is the share, right? In 2020, if you see the loan among the market share in loans, the private sector banks has a 36% market share. So it went from 21 to 36 in 5 years. And in the course of the webinar, you know why have they increased and why has the public sector bank decreased. And for Kotak, so Kotak, if you see, so what is the total loan book, as I said? So let me do this calculation for you as well. So let's go back to this slide. Where was it? Oh, wait a minute, I think. Yeah, correct. So just give me a second. Yeah, let me just go back and go to that. What was the total loan book pay? Yeah. So look at this. How do you calculate market share, right? So the credit market share is 105 lakh crores, correct? That's what I said at the beginning. Now, what was the total loan book of Kotak? Let's go to that slide. Yes, 2,18,000. So 2.18 divided by 105 is the market share of Kotak Mahindra Bank. Oh, okay. So HDFC Bank has a market share of 10%. So the loan book of HDFC Bank is approximately 10.8 lakh crores. Axis Bank and ICICI Bank. So ICICI Bank has a loan book of approximately 7 lakh crores, 6.5 to 7 lakh crores. That means how much? 7% market share. So HDFC 10%, ICICI 7%. Axis Bank has a loan book of approximately, I think, 5 lakh crores, if I am not wrong. That is a 5%. And Kotak Mahindra Bank, which to me is the best bank in the world, has a market share of 2% to even less than 2%. And that makes it even better for me. So I think that answers your question, Moli. Yeah. So any other questions, please ask. I mean, it's a session that it's not a typical webinar. Like, so it's important that we all understand the scope, because very, very exciting times are coming. So if I don't see some questions, I think, okay, so I think I can end the session here. And of course, you guys have my email ID. So let me just write my email ID here as well. So so just send me an email, or I'll also send you guys that PPT where my contact number is there. So anything that you want to know more about the banks, if you want to know more about like for provisions kya hote hai, detail mein jana hai, so I'm always here to help you out. I am very eager to teach. I believe I'm a good teacher. So that's something that excites me the most. So so on that note, we'll end it. Okay, so I'm sorry, there's just one last session. So question is, Kotak is competing with HDFC and both has huge prospects, so why not only HDFC? Okay, so if you have Sachin Tendulkar and Virendra Sehwag, I'm giving you both. I mean, like, why do you try to like sell Sehwag for Sachin, right? So to me, both are very important. I took Kotak as an example, right? I could have done this with HDFC Bank as well. I could have also done it with Bajaj Finance as well. So well-run private sector banks in India or in the world as well. If you see, there are very less well-run private sector banks, and these private sector banks are going to rule the roost. So there is never ever I'm saying कि Kotak अच्छा करेगा, इसका मतलब HDFC Bank बुरा करेगा. No. Kotak देखो, this is just like saying ना कि like I am making money, but I don't care because my neighbor is making more money. Let HDFC Bank make more money. That's the mentality that I have with every company in my portfolio. So I don't compare my returns with any fund manager, right? As long as I am building wealth, right, and as long as I am moving towards achieving my financial goals and getting my financial freedom, I am happy. Okay, so on that note, of course, both banks are but brilliant, both HDFC and Kotak. Okay, other group companies are there, so it is not exactly 5 based on. Yeah, correct. Because see, Vicky, but in the other group companies, so there are Kotak has actually two NBFCs. So Kotak has a Kotak Mahindra Investments, which makes investments in commercial real estates, and there is another NBFC called Kotak Mahindra Prime. But their combined loan book is approximately 55 to 75,000 crore, right? So that's what I said. Okay, the entire the whole market share of Kotak is approximately 2 to 2.5. I mean, it can be 1.5 to 2.5%. Yeah. Okay. This one other question from Ashish. What are your thoughts on having your own small case? Ashish, can you tell me what do you mean by small case? Okay. See, again, let me come to that point that yeah. Please go ahead. Hmm. 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 Nice. Okay. Hmm. Oh, nice. I mean, like, thanks for bringing this up, Ashish. So, a couple of things here. First is now since this lockdown is going on, now I can't get my RIA, so it's in process. So that's the first thing. The second thing is definitely I would look this up because my goal is to help out the retail investors. So my goal is to not make I mean, it's not to chase the richest people around because that's what everybody in Mumbai is doing in India. My goal is to help out the retail investors, like because I myself was a retail investor and still am, right, still learning. The goal is to help them, and the goal is to like what do I say, okay, like मतलब एक साथ आगे बढ़ेंगे और अपना financial goals will satisfy. So definitely, Ashish, we'll stay in touch, and once I get my license, I think we have to get your license to be on small case. Once I get it, I'll definitely look into it. Thanks a lot. Yeah, so yes, so it was supposed to be a 1 hour session. I took 30 minutes extra, so apologies for that. So on that note, we'll end it, and thank you so much, because this was my first webinar actually. Like, I have taught many people, but सामने सामने पढ़ाया, कभी technology का use नहीं किया. So a big thanks to Pradyumna, who has actually helped me in getting this entire the setup going. So the both of us, Pradyumna and me, are trying to build this slowly. We are trying to get retail investors in, when we are trying to educate them. So no stock recommendations and no nothing, and trying to get everybody into a long-term sustainable mentality. So that's the target for the both of us. So thank you. And don't call me sir. I still like to believe that I'm young, although I'm 32. Okay, so thanks a lot, guys, and stay well, stay safe. COVID is still here, so mask pehante rehna. Okay, and again, of course, we'll come with our next webinar, and we'll let you guys know. Okay, so on that note, bye bye, and see you.